Check 1 2, everybody. What's going on? It's Coach Jason back at you with another edition of Straight Jabs. Tonight, my guest is Marshall Kaufman of King's Promotions. We want to talk with him, pick his brain about the boxing industry, what he's thinking, what he's been doing, from the promotion side, and see how things are going. So, now that we're in this COVID environment, how has it affected the promotional business and, what he's been doing. So, he's also the promoter of one of the guys I train, Zilla Clark, Nikoi Zilla Clark, who's a fighter under the promotion. So, once he comes on, we'll talk with him. So. What's up, everybody? What's going on?
Yo.
Hey, what's up, Marshall?
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Glad you're able to jump on with me.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you hit me up.
So how you been? How's everything?
Good. I'm just sitting here in a bubble in my room. I'm here in Connecticut for the showbox fights. So there's not a whole lot I can do except for just sit back and relax,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, glad you're in good health. That's always number one. So
yeah, for sure.
that's especially these crazy times, right?
Yeah, lying, man. It is. It's been crazy.
Yeah. So I think I haven't seen. Yeah, I know me personally. I haven't seen you in about a year or so with this whole COVID. Last fight was.
I think there's a whole lot of people that haven't seen people. You know what I mean? And it's a sad case, but there's people who don't even get to see their spouses. I just got word of a friend that passed away due to the husband and wife both were sick due to COVID.
Wow.
And then the husband didn't even get to see the wife when she passed away, it's crazy. Just crazy times we're dealing with.
Yeah. Same thing with me. My grandmother passed, and I didn't get to see her, so
Right.
couldn't make the travel, because of everything. So it's tough.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. So what's this? Your a little podcast that you have going on here? This is pretty cool.
Yeah. I've been starting it. I figured since we all kind of in the bubble, the only way we can connect and really keep things going is to talk and kind of get on these platforms and really just,
Exactly.
share with the world what we got going on and where we come from. So I think it's always a good opportunity to just talk with people and say, hey, we may not know a lot about each other, but there's probably some interesting things that we could find out and we could all connect and network,
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah, because I think the misuse of social media has always been probably more prevalent than it has in the past. But I think now if we turn it on its head a little bit and kind of use it what it's meant to be used for, and I think it'd be more productive.
True.
Cool. So let's this is all about you. So let's talk about you.
All about me.
So
All about me.
Yeah. Well, you're the guest. So I'll say
and I appreciate you having me on, for real.
No problem. So talk to me. How'd you get into boxing? Like, what's your background in it? I know you're promoted now, you've been doing big things, but how'd you get into it?
Well, in 1981, I graduated from high school, and growing up, I really didn't have a relationship with my dad. So I started to have a relationship with him more like when I was 18 years old. And I used to go down to his store because he had like a sandwich shop, and I saw that he had advertisement on there for boxing. So, of course, I'm curious. Me and my boys, I grew up in the hood, so we used to slap box and whatnot. So I thought, let me try it out. So a friend of mine and myself, we went over to the gym and started boxing, and I just fell in love with the sport itself. So after we were talking here. Uh,
Oh, okay. No problem.
One thing led to another, and I just fell in love with it. I had 7 amateur fights, 1 pro fight, and then I started to promote shows and train fighters after that.
Oh, cool. Cool. So what was your first promotion? How did that go? Like, were you kind of had just
The
one
first
guy and
promotion,
you did it, or did yeah.
yeah, the first promotion. I can hardly hear you for some reason now. The
Okay.
first, maybe if I put my earbuds in, I don't know if that makes a
Okay.
difference. Let me see.
Yeah, maybe because they called. Sometimes when they call, it kind of throws off the audio.
Yeah, that's much better. Okay.
Okay.
So the first promotion I had was in 1995. Uh, my son Travis was 10 years old. It was on his birthday. Actually, it was 1994. I'm sorry, and it was on his
Hmm.
birthday, and so that was the very first show I ever did. You know,
Oh,
what a
cool.
way for my son to spend his ninth birthday.
Exactly. Yeah. So was it an amateur? Well, obviously at that young
No,
he was
no,
amateur.
it was a pro. I did a pro show. It was a pro show
Oh, the pro
that
show.
I
Okay,
did, and
gotcha.
I just had other fighters that I put on the show. There was one fighter I was working with in particular that I was training, named Lenny Bainbridge, and
Hmm.
so he was 8-1 at the time as a pro, and so I put him on, and then I just I got addicted. I lost money on it, and it was like gambling. I got addicted to it, and I fell in love with it
Yeah.
though. I really did. I just loved uh, the whole concept of that challenge. I love the challenge of going after and making something happen. You know.
Right, right. And it's a tough business, right? Because the we see it from the entertainment point of view, but there's a lot of business things that has to happen. So, you have to tie
Oh,
in so
without a
many
doubt.
things. So, yeah. So tell me about the
Yeah, no,
challenges
without
of how
without a
that
doubt.
works.
Well, there's a number of challenges which the average person don't take notice to, but the challenges of making matches, the challenges of making matches and keeping the matches together all the
Hmm.
way up to the fight, the challenges of making sure all their medicals are completed, making sure that you have travel in
Hmm.
order, and then the biggest challenge from a business standpoint is selling tickets or sponsorships to get people in the arena. So that's one of the
Hmm.
biggest challenges as a promoter. And now we have COVID as well, so that's going to be a new challenge that's going to attack us because not only are we dealing with the whole situation of not being able to do shows because of fans, not having fans, but now we also have to get COVID testing for everyone. On top
Right.
of the HIV, the eye tests, and physicals, and everything else that goes along with it.
Hmm. Right. So do you think that the COVID, now that we're dealing with this, we're kind of in the thick of it now, but, if at some point we get kind of at the end of it, do you think things come back to normal, or do we adjust for the permanent foreseeable future? Will this kind of create new avenues for how the sport will be, viewed and business being done, you know?
Well, I think it's going to create new avenues, but because with change, I think there's always some new avenues that you have to learn to deal with. But
Hmm.
I'm excited for it. I really am. I mean, it's not. I don't. Who wants to have to deal with COVID? But it's always whenever there's a new challenge. It's just you have to be prepared and know how to attack that new challenge.
Right, right.
Of course, I can't wait for it to sort of be over with, but I don't know if it's going to be over with for quite some time.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're probably more in the first half of it still. I think there's a whole nother period of time that we have to get over, because even if we do all get vaccinated and things come out of it, it may be some anxiety and hesitation to get people to just do what we used to do, even if
Correct.
we are
Correct.
feeling
No.
okay. So,
Yeah, because people are concerned. People are
mhm.
concerned. They don't, even when you can sell tickets again, I think people are going to be concerned about going out, and sitting too close to someone uh, uh, or just coming in contact with someone else. So I think it's just going to take time. It really is, like anything.
Right, right. So I do notice that, there has been more and more, and your promotion has been one of them that has a lot of, shows that have been kind of put on online, and kind of in a sort of pay-per-view way. Some have been free to the audience, but be able to be viewed from different platforms, and I think that's a good thing. And I think that um, that gives more exposure to to your promotion as well as the fighters who are on your promotion. So, do you think that's something you're going to do more of and stick with that, or is it going to be something you kind of shy away from?
No, I think that's something that is definitely something that I think every promoter has to entertain is the streaming platforms and things of that sort because it can help. And now in today's market, having like apps that have shows on them. For instance, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing a show in June with a company that's called Fight, and so they're going to be
Mm-hmm.
the streaming app that I use, and they'll be streaming the fights all over, and we'll be selling the fights for I don't know, probably 14.99 or something of that sort. So people
Mm-hmm.
that are not able to make it to the fight can at least watch it on this streaming app. So
Yeah.
it can be a good thing. It can turn out to be a real positive thing.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go. Because I did, well, I was one of those people who, in the past, who had purchased one because at the time maybe I wasn't coaching anyone, so I would want to still see the fights, and I enjoyed it because being someone who, I live in Jersey and the promotions are in PA, so sometimes I couldn't make the drive. I got a 2-year-old, but I got my phone
Right.
on me at all times, so I'm like, all right, I'm tuning in.
Hmm.
She can play, have a
Right.
little playtime, be with her mom, and I'm right here with my phone. So I
Yeah.
think
Right. Exactly.
that's an opportunity. You still get some dollars
Hmm.
and you still get to spread the word, because I could be anywhere. I could have been in Miami. I could have been in LA and still,
Right.
attended, the fight and watched the fights, and spread
And you
that.
still had a chance, and you still had a chance to be a good dad. You still had your 2 year
Yes,
old there, so you're
exactly.
still able to be a good dad and still watch it on your phone. I think the apps
Right.
are
Yep.
good. I mean, you got the DAZN app that's out there.
Hmm.
DAZN does a lot of things, but there's a number of apps that are coming out. So I think it's a good thing. It's just a matter of how you can help market it and how you can benefit from it from a promoter standpoint.
Right. So as a promoter, what do you look for in a fighter right now? So if you are on the you have availability in your roster and you're like, all right,
Hmm.
let me go look around and see who's out there. What are the steps that you take to kind of find your next guy on your roster? Obviously there's a lot of levels, but
Yeah, if I'm looking for a pro debut guy, it would be someone that has a huge amateur background, who I think
hmm
that has who made an impact in the amateurs, that just has come to a point in their career as an amateur that they've outgrown it and they're ready for that next step in their journey, which is
hmm
professional, of course. And I have one kid now that I just signed that was a real good amateur who just made his pro debut on Fox TV, Atif
hmm
Overton. And so that's what I look for from someone who's going from the amateurs into the pros, that they
hmm
had a real solid amateur background so that when the going gets rough, at least they know how to handle themselves in that mix.
hmm
Uh, the other thing that I would look for is in a fighter who already has a couple fights is just to see who they fought, who they fought, uh, how their level of opposition was, and how they handled themselves in those fights,
hmm
uh, and to see whether they're ready for that next level or not. Because let's face it, you have to use good business sense too, where you're not dumping a whole lot of money into these guys. Yeah, you end up getting caught up in that anyway. But so many of these fighters, uh, nowadays they think that if you pad their record, that they can make a lot of money someday. Well, it is true for them, but you as the promoter, how do you recoup your money?
Right.
If you take and stick $20,000-$30,000 into a fighter, they have to make $100,000 payday just for you to start to recoup that money again. And
Right.
not every fighter gets to that point. Some fighters are lucky if they even get to a $15,000 payday. It just depends on who the fighter is, and I don't. Uh, I don't really want to waste my time with those fighters who I don't think are going to get to that next level
hmm
anymore.
Right.
Will I put them on cards? Will I do help build them because I like them or whatever the case is? Of course I will. But at the same time, or I'll put them in competitive fights, I should say. Uh, but at the same time, I'm not in the business to try to pad someone's record. If you can fight,
Yeah.
you can fight. Period.
Right. Right. And I think, you know, people probably don't understand that you have to have a mutual beneficial situation. And I think if you don't prove yourself by
Correct.
showing in a win or loss that you have something that the crowd wants to see, right? Like at the end of the day, it's about the viewership, right? We understand that from
Hmm.
the fighter point of view that people want to see, you know, some action, something that you showed. That's going to matter more than anything else. And I think that will eventually get the dollars rolling for both sides, you know?
Hmm.
So I definitely understand that. And, you know, and for you, you can't get in there and fight, right? You can't, you know, you're the
Right.
promoter.
I
So
can't go in there.
you can only
Yeah, I
depend
can't
on
go in
them.
there and fight for them. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like there's guys that I've taken, and you can see over the last couple of years, but most recently, especially since the pandemic, I have guys who've been fighting on Showtime and on Fox
Mm-hmm.
through PBC. And so all I can do is take you to the dance. All I can do is provide the opportunity for you to go out there and put on a show. It's up to you to go out there and win that fight. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I can't go in there and fight for them. I can put you in a 50-50 fight, and here you go. Go out there and win now. You know,
Right.
and I've done that. I've done that with a couple guys, and they've gone out there and won. And that's the sweet part about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Being competitive will
One
always
guy,
outweigh everything
yeah,
else.
one guy that you know yourself that you've watched, probably Michael Coffey. You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Michael Coffey fought Nicoy Clark, and
Mm-hmm.
look what Coffey's doing now. I mean,
Yeah.
he's really making a name for himself because he's going
Yeah.
out there, he's taking those challenges, and he's been victorious through those challenges. So,
Right.
that's just what has to happen.
Right. And yeah,
Another one,
I
another
just
one
can
that
give him a shout out.
Yeah, yeah. Another
Yeah.
one that you've
Yeah.
seen was Raisa Leem. Raisa Leem fought on the Showbox
Yeah.
card when
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
that was a year ago when we seen each other
Yeah. That was the
on
last time.
Valentine's
Yeah.
Day. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another one. So Raisa Leem made his scene on Showbox, and then he went and fought on Showtime, and then fought on Showtime again, and just won a world title. So,
Mm-hmm.
all you can do as a promoter, you can present those opportunities for them. They have to go out there and win the fight.
Yeah. Absolutely. So speaking of getting in there and fighting, I have been seeing some posts of you getting lean, getting trim. So I seen you've
Oh
been taking
man.
advantage of this time, huh?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely did. It all started. I was trying to see if I can flex my guns on here at the same time, but it ain't working.
Get the
uh,
tricep going.
yeah, right. But no, I mean, I started. That all started when my son Travis was in camp in Houston, and
Hmm.
he sorry about that. Another call was coming
Yeah.
through. I wish there was a
Okay.
way to block calls from coming through altogether, but my my son was in Houston getting ready for his last fight, and so he started working. He came to camp at the beginning of June, and I would go to the gym with him and whatnot. And then probably about the towards the later part of June, middle of June, I got serious and I thought, I got to drop some weight myself. I'm walking around 252 pounds, and this isn't healthy. And so I just
Hmm.
started working out, and one thing led to another, and it's been consistent ever since. And for us,
Yeah.
for anybody, uh, after 21 days straight of doing something, it becomes a habit. And so for
Right.
me now,
Right.
it's been ever since June or July, and it's been nonstop. So I'm thankful for that I can get motivated to go to the gym every day.
That's
So
good.
it helps keep me healthy, and it does and it makes me feel better about who I am.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. It's funny you said 252 because I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and that's what I weighed on the scale.
No,
252.
you did.
Yeah, I
Are you
did. Yeah.
serious?
Well, I had all my
Wow.
clothes on. I had all my clothes and everything, so they didn't do it right. So I know I'm like probably more like 245,
So,
but
so what
that's
did
what
you
it
do?
said on the scale.
What did you do? Put on weight during the pandemic?
Oh yeah, when you saw me last, I was only about 220.
25. I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, same number, right? As
Yeah.
though I saw
No,
you, as
it
though I
was a
saw
rough
you with
year.
Scarface. Yeah, no. But look, it's just, I mean, different people handle it differently. But for me, that's what got me started. So it was just something I jump started, and I started a diet program, and one thing led to another, and so it was good. It makes and I feel better about who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm definitely got to get back on track. So I'm on my way. The last year I had a car accident, blood clots in my legs. So I had,
Oh
my
man,
activity level has gone, way down. So,
right,
I'm
right.
coming back out of it now. So I'm
Okay,
getting back there.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully everything comes right, and you just take one day at a time, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Yep. I might have to call you for one of them old man fights.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Give me another 40-year old and I'm your guy.
I hear that.
So talk to me about MMA. Do you watch MMA at all? Like
I
UFC, Bellator?
I do not. I have to admit that I do not. I'm not a big fan of it.
Mm,
If I'm at someone's house and they have the fight on, or if I'm at uh, a friend of mine goes to a cigar lounge and he loves MMA, so I might go there with him and watch it. But other than that, I don't know any of the guys. I don't know who's who. What
hmm
I do watch, I will watch Bare Knuckle. Um, the guy who used to be my partner is the president of Bare Knuckle Boxing, so I will watch that, and that's a little bit more entertaining for me because they're not on the ground.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so I always ask because, the structure of the way, the UFC is and the way boxing is has always been a topic for people about how the sport is structured. But, if
Right.
you don't, it's a different sport altogether. And I think that's what we have to understand. And the origins are much different. Boxing is a much older sport that's been around so much longer. So there's a lot of tradition that MMA doesn't have. And the UFC kind of grabbed a hold of it and became the major league, so to speak, right off the bat. So,
They've
um,
done a good job with it, though. They really have, as far as
mhm,
getting the fan base. You know,
yeah,
I think the fan base for UFC and MMA in general is so much larger than boxing. You know,
hmm
I mean, there's still some people who draw for boxing. Like when Earl Spence fights and the big fights, or Danny Garcia, things like that. So they can still draw a crowd, but MMA, it seems like they're always out there. It seems like they always draw a great crowd.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's like the difference in MMA and boxing because I'm a guy who's kind of split between both, right? Because I've done MMA and I've done boxing. So,
Right.
but I think the difference is that you got hardcore MMA, but you don't have mainstream MMA. Like you have, a really big hardcore MMA base
Okay.
because either you're really familiar with it or you're not. But then you
Right.
have the boxing fans who have a familiarity with boxing, and then you have the casual fan and you have hardcore. So you have a little bit of both. So overall, it's just kind of a different mix of people.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting to see how it's divided. Because I
Right.
never find anyone who's familiar with MMA who's just a casual fan. They either know it really well or they don't know it at all. But I
What do
have
you
boxing
what do you,
friends who know a little bit of both.
what do you like most?
At my core, I'm a boxer first. So
Okay.
I learned boxing so much longer ago than I did, MMA, the different martial arts. So I would say I'm always a boxer first, but I watched it equally because I watched
Right.
the first UFC. I was only like 13, but I remember watching it just as much as I watched boxing. So I've always watched them simultaneously, but I never
Right.
practiced it myself until I only started martial arts when I was like 30, but I
Okay.
started boxing. I was like 17, 18. So
Right. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. That's cool.
yeah. So I got a little segment for you. So because I'm not gonna hold
Okay.
you too long, but I got a little segment. So I call it the jabs, right? Since it's called straight
Okay.
jabs. So
All
I'm gonna
right.
ask you give you two options, and you choose one, and then you could either tell me why, or you could just say move on to the next one. All
Okay.
right.
Hold on. Maybe I need to get a pen and paper here. No, go ahead.
Nah, you don't need that. You don't need that. Simple stuff. Simple stuff.
Okay.
All right. So I got steak or chicken.
Steak.
Steak. Okay. Crab or lobster?
I'm gonna have to go with I really don't eat neither one, but I would have it in a soup, so I'm gonna go with the lobster bisque soup. If we had to go with, so I'm gonna
Mm.
go with the lobster.
All right, good choice. Good choice. I'm a lobster guy myself. My wife's all about the crab, but I like
Okay.
lobster. So,
I only became a
pizza.
steak fan. I only became a steak fan because of more steak lately because I go back and forth to Houston, Texas. So in Houston you have to eat steak. So
Oh yes, yes.
that's why. But
Yeah.
go ahead on to the third one. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's all right. Yeah, talking is good. Talking is good. Pizza or burger?
Neither. But if I have to make a choice, it would be a burger and it would be a veggie burger.
Veggie burger. Okay, okay. That's a
Yeah.
good one. What kind of veggie burger? Any one particular or just?
I don't even know what kind they are. My wife gets them. She throws them in the air fryer, and man, they taste like a regular burger. I love them. So
Oh, that,
no, I love the burger.
yeah.
And
It's
don't get me
probably
wrong, I like pizza too, but based on how my lifestyle is now, I stay away from it.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. It's probably in Beyond Meat or the Impossible Burger, one of the two.
I don't
Because
know.
I like the Beyond Meat one.
She gets them at Sam's Club, but they're thick. And when
Hmm
she puts them in the air fryer, I'm telling you, it's like a regular burger that you pat it up, and you wouldn't know the difference. They're
Yeah.
excellent. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Uh,
That with some
yeah.
cheese, some onions, some green peppers. Oh man, a little slice of avocado. Look out.
All right, all right. Sound like a meal.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I got broccoli or spinach.
Man, I really got to choose between the two. I like them both.
Got to choose one. You only got one.
I'm going to go with the broccoli.
Broccoli. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said it said most likely Beyond. I think so too. She's probably getting the Beyond
Okay.
Meat because that's
Okay.
the ones I get, and everything you described about it is that way. It's just
Yeah,
like that.
nice and
Yeah.
thick. Yeah, no, they're good. But
Hmm
yeah, so I gotta go with the broccoli over the spinach. I love spinach, but I gotta go with the broccoli because it seems it has the tendency of filling me up more, so
hmm
that way I'm not as hungry after I eat it. So that's the choice,
That's
not
what's up.
because it tastes, but that's what it is.
Yeah. All right. So we got Ali or Tyson.
Oh, Ali all the way. That was an easy one. That
I
was an
figured you'd
easy
say
one.
that.
Yeah. Don't say because I'm old school, but Ali, Ali was he was the master, man. Just
Mhm.
even more so outside the ring. That's what I loved about it. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah.
He also promoted himself in that way. So
hmm
Ali was special, and mentally
Yeah.
tough, and that's one thing
Yes.
I give him. Way over Tyson, just the mental toughness.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I agree. Holmes or Frazier?
Holmes, I loved his jab.
Hmm Yeah. Plus, he's a PA guy too, so home team, home
Yeah,
team.
but so was Frazier. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
they
you're
both.
right. Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, but I love Holmes's jab, and uh, Holmes was tough. He was the man in his day.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
A little underrated, I'd say. I think he kind of came in that time frame where he didn't have
Well, he was
that other
under
opponent.
he was in the shadow of Ali,
Yeah,
and that's what hurt him. I mean,
yeah.
but Holmes was very good.
hmm Agreed. All right, Mayweather or Pacquiao?
Mayweather,
Mm-hmm.
defensive wizard. Yeah, definitely Mayweather.
Mm-hmm. All right, all right. We got Spence or Crawford.
Spence. Spence.
You
Crawford's
think?
a very talented. Crawford's probably the most talented welterweight out there. I just don't think, but Spence does everything good, everything. So, and
Yeah.
I like Spence, I really do. I just
hmm
think that Spence is too physically strong and too much for Crawford. So that's my opinion. I love Spence.
hmm Do you think he can finish Crawford, or do you think it's a decision win?
Uh, if he clips him, I think he can finish him. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because he has a motor, and I think that's the danger. Is that
Right,
he won't stop. Once he gets you hurt, he's
right.
gonna be all over. He's gonna be all over you regardless.
Yeah, and he's
But
a vicious body puncher.
hmm
Yeah,
yeah.
so no, Spence attacks the body very well as well. So I like Spence.
hmm All right. I got the last one. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney.
I think, man, oh man, I'm going to have to go Ryan Garcia.
hmm
I think,
Yeah.
even though I think Devin Haney is technically sound, better technically, uh, just so much hype behind Ryan, and Ryan can punch.
hmm
So I gotta go with Ryan right now. I gotta go with him while he's hot.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. All
Now,
right. So my last.
if you would have said him or Tank Davis, I would have had to go with Tank. You know,
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think Tank, yeah, definitely cleans him up. I think Garcia
yeah,
has, from what I've seen, he's got some holes in his game that,
yeah,
from a good fighter, a good technical fighter, they're gonna exploit it. As
correct,
long as they don't get hit by him, that's
right.
one thing. But he's got some holes.
No, I agree. I agree.
So what do you think of this Logan Paul, Jake Paul kind of Nate Robinson kind of boxing? I don't even want to call it boxing, but it's like entertainment, like WWE boxing, or
I'm happy for them. Go make that
mm,
money. You know,
yeah,
they're stealing money right now without some without a gun. You know, and it's legal. You know, so they're not even going to get arrested for it. They're stealing money. You know,
yeah,
so hey, so be it. Those guys are killing it. You know, so so hey, I'm happy for them. Whatever, go get it. You know, they're
yeah,
really not when it comes down to it, they're really not. You know, your typical boxer that can go in there and fight. You know, the top of the top guys, or even guys who have guys on the same level as them coming up. But you know, hey, go get that free money, man. That's what it is. It's free
hmm
money for them.
yeah. Right. Now, what about Mayweather's involvement? Because I don't have a problem with it if you're fighting someone else who's
Right.
like them, who's not a real fighter and they're just kind of doing it for the money and whatever else. But what about Mayweather, the legend? Someone like him kind of being involved in it. Does it help the sport? Does it hurt the sport? Does it
No,
hurt his brand
I
personally?
think I think true boxing fans don't look at it as though it's really the sport of boxing. I just think it's
hmm
entertainment. That's all. You know.
hmm
And for Mayweather, you know, once again, he's going to get that money. You
Yeah.
know, and that's what it is. It's that paper for him. So, uh, you know, I think it's good. It's entertainment. You know, and I enjoy the hype of it. So,
hmm
uh, and that's about it. You know, but it's not. I wouldn't even put them in the category of boxers.
Right, right. I agree. I agree. We got to keep it in the same in the lane that it's
Right.
meant to be in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I think if I was in their shoes or if I was involved in it, I think I would use the platform to grow the sport somehow, though. Like so, especially in Mayweather's case, he's a promoter also. So if I'm gonna fight someone like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, whoever he's fighting, I would try to get fighters who are legitimately matched up as undercard fighters. So at least if I'm bringing that many eyes to the table, they can actually get seen as well. At least
Right.
get
No, I
part of
agree.
that, to grow their brands. Because when their brand grows, his brand grows, and
No, I
I think
agree. I agree.
everybody wins.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, no, I agree.
Cool. All right. So as far as like guys on your roster, any guys we should be looking out for in the future? Because I know you have, you mentioned some guys on
Yeah.
Showtime. I
First,
know
first we
Coffee you
talked
have
about
for it.
Raïs Salim. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
Raïs Salim. We talked about Michael Coffey. There's another young kid coming up named Atif Overton. Um,
Latif Overton.
yep, Atif Overton. Overton is Oberlton, and he's 1-0. Look for him. He's a 175 pounder, and he'll be making a lot of noise as well in the
Mm-hmm.
near future.
All right. Cool. Cool.
So there's a number of guys, but we'll be on here for another hour and
Oh
people
yeah,
think I'm
exactly.
like,
You run down the whole roster, you know.
right, exactly.
Everybody get your coffee.
Yeah, right about it. Shoot, I might need some myself soon.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I don't want to, hold you forever. I
No, I
just want to,
appreciate it.
pick your brain a little bit.
No,
And
I'm glad I did. I got some calls I got to make back, but sorry about all the interference, but my phone doesn't stop ringing.
no
Uh,
problem. Hey, that's the
yeah,
reason why you're in
exactly.
business, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but thanks, I appreciate it. Uh, is this going on my page as well then?
I can share it with you, but I can
Share
also
it with
send you a
me.
copy of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
share it with me. That'd be cool. I
All
appreciate
right.
it, man.
No
All right.
problem. All right.
Stay
Be
in touch.
safe and we'll talk again.
You got it. Thanks, brother. All right.
All right. Good night. All right, everybody. That was a wrap with Marshall Kaufman of King's Promotions, great promoter out of PA. I'm glad to pick his brain, and we're definitely going to be talking more and doing this again. And stay tuned for the next edition of Straight Jabs. Have a good night, everybody, and be safe.